Hey, thanks for joining me. So I was talking about on the last video that I did. I'm not sure what order I'm going to release these, so this might be out of order. But I just got done recording a video for the second time of the same comic because I discovered that this is a Monday, but the Sunday previous to this, I recorded videos for my channel going all the way through for the next 7 days to get me through all the way to Sunday. And I discovered 3 of the videos didn't record audio. And it really, really pissed me off because I spent a lot of time. It's an hour and a half worth of content, 3 separate videos with no sound. And boy, did that piss me off. I'm like, you're kidding. Now I have to go back and go over it again. And even the other books, I'm like, they were kind of entertaining enough in their own ways. There was an issue of Wildcats. There was an issue of X-Force by Liefeld. The Spider-Woman one, like this one, it's an old book, and so it's kind of quaint in its kind of presentation. It is of its era. But man, I went over so much stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to go over this again. I don't want to re-explain this fucking Spider-Woman comic. It's so aggravating to have a bunch of work and time put in that you just have to shit can and do it over. But it's the nature of the beast, right? 1981, Spider-Woman. I just got this book. I saw it available on that Facebook page, and there, this guy's selling shit for $1. I'm like, hook me up. It's always fun to look at these old books. So Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew, right? It's a character I don't really know that much about. I'm actually surprised that she's existed this far back. I didn't know that she's gone back this far. But I guess when I think about it, I didn't know when she got started. I don't know. Written by Chris Claremont, which I was kind of surprised at. It definitely feels like a Chris Claremont book with his story and his presentation and the way that the characters talk and the way that characters over-explain the backstory, which is kind of tedious to read in a way, but also the reason that it's there is that every comic book is probably someone's first, and you have to get an understanding of who and what everyone is. It's kind of a big deal. You have to understand what's going on. So it's just part of the writing style of the time from Chris Claremont. The artist, I don't recognize the name. Steve Leialoha, last name spelled Leialoha, with Wycheck on inks. His art is fine. It feels like he's trying to do like an approximation of what would probably at the time be the highest selling, most popular comic book from Marvel. And for all I know, the entire comics industry is the Claremont Byrne X-Men era. It looks like he's trying to do a John Byrne kind of style. It looks kind of like an old school classic Marvel house type style. I don't know. It looks fine. It's perfectly serviceable, but it kind of lacks anything that makes it stand out. There's no kind of unique factor to it. And, Marvel at the time, maybe they didn't allow for that. Maybe everyone's on a time crunch. Get it done. Don't be wild and different. Just follow the rules. I don't know. It's fine, but it doesn't stand out. But she's arrested. Something crazy happened from the previous issues, which they kind of re-explain in here, which is good. Because, again, this is my first issue, and I don't know what's going on, so they have to tell us, and they do. And but while she's getting busted here, she's able to snap free from the cuffs and fly away. And I'm like, I actually didn't know that Spider-Woman could fly. I'm like, what? Is that her power? I don't know anything about this character beyond she exists. But she gets away. The cops are going to shoot her, but they're like, no, don't shoot. Your bullets will fall to the ground and hit somebody. Let her go. So while she's flying away, she's re-explaining what happened in the previous issues, how she was hanging out with her friends, and then these weird sonic sounds hit her, and they all got kind of feeling weird. And I don't understand why these sonic sounds hit them while they're at this party. But she jumps away, gets in her costume, and traces the sonic scream to its origin, which is at the Federal Mint, which is what this building is supposed to be. It's a really weird drawing with her hand coming down and then being flat on the edge of this black surface here, and then this building in the background. It's kind of weird, but I guess she's supposed to be on the roof of a building, and that's the edge of it, and this is the building in the distance. That's the Federal Mint. Whatever. The thing that was interesting to me that shocked me is that this book, and they're explaining what happened in the previous issue, the bad guys that they're fighting are Black Tom Cassidy, Juggernaut, and Siren as a teenager. I'm like, holy shit, these are the characters from that early X-Force run from Liefeld. Now, I know Black Tom and Juggernaut existed way before, clearly. I actually didn't know Siren went back this far, but it's just kind of interesting, kind of funny to me to see Black Tom and Juggernaut and Siren, because I associate them immediately in my head from my youth in that whatever issue of X-Force it was it issue 3 or 4 when they showed up and ended up having that crossover with McFarlane. Fun comics, fun time, you know, some of the bits of Liefeld's work that I actually still kind of enjoy in spite of itself and its weirdness. It's just kind of funny to see that these 3 are still linked this far back. It's kind of weird. But I guess when you think about it, it's only 10 years later. This is 81, so 1991, right? Is that when those stories were happening? 10 years is actually not that long ago. And, you know, it feels like a million years away from where we are now, from 81 to 2026 as of this recording, but it's only a 10-year difference, and that's not that much. But anyway, they were the bad guys. They were there to do some criminal shit, to steal some things. So now it cuts back to her. She got away from the cops, and she's going over all this text about explaining who she is and how she's Spider-Woman, and she has to live her life as Jessica Drew. She's explaining a lot of shit to us, the reader, in case we're this is our first book with her. While this is going on, it's explained that she's being observed through some kind of monitors here. Somebody's watching her. And then the dialogue here says, except Tuvarish, that she may be a criminal. And it says, that remains to be seen, Peter. Let's go. So who could that possibly be? Well, we're not surprised, because on the front it says right there, her deadliest foes, the X-Men. Okay. Clearly that's Colossus and probably Storm, just based on the Tuvarish and talking about somebody's talking to Peter. Could be anybody, but we know who it is. No surprise. But they're like, this is someone, this is a superpowered being. Is she good? Is she bad? We don't know. So Jessica Drew goes back to her place where she lives, and she talks with her friends, but eventually there's a knock on the door. There's Storm, there's Angel, there's Colossus. And art-wise, this is all kind of serviceable. The artist draws kind of weird faces. They look a little goofy. Again, I'm guessing it kind of feels like he's trying to do a John Byrne kind of look, but nobody is John Byrne in terms of his art. And it's an admirable and perfectly serviceable look, but it just doesn't have that magical kind of it factor that some artists just have. But it works. So they run into her and they talk. We go back and forth, and they're like, you were seen at the place where this stuff has been, the bad guys, Juggernaut and Black Tom Cassidy, they stole some stuff from that place. Stuff is missing, and you were seen there. So you want to explain yourself? And she's like, are you with the police? It's like, no, we're not with the police. Have you ever heard of the X-Men? Oh my God, the X-Men are great. So she kind of pleads her case and kind of convinces them that they're all on the same team, and we need to go find these bad guys and stop this, you know, to clear her name and get the stuff that they stole back. So Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman's going to team up with a couple of the X-Men. These are some goofy faces. It almost looks like they're wearing lipstick. A little strange. You know, again, like I said, he's obviously very talented, but a little goofy looking. But now there's this boat, these ships laid out. They're Liberty ships, which is a type of boat from World War II. It tells you that there. And they're abandoned. They're mothballed, waiting for possible use in the future. I guess they think this is where the bad guys are. So Storm is carrying Colossus in human form. And then Jessica Drew and Angel are flying along. They're going to go find the bad guys. There's Black Tom in the bottom of the boat holding his bars of vibranium. That's what he stole. And of course, vibranium, that is a material that's very expensive, very valuable. And, you know, that's what we're after. Vibranium could be turned into deadly weapons and all kinds of cool shit, and we can't let Black Tom have it. So suddenly the boat rocks and shakes. And what was kind of funny is that Storm drops Colossus and he turns into his metal form. And their plan was, according to their dialogue, is that he was supposed to just land on the boat and shake it and surprise everybody. But he's so fucking heavy, he literally falls through the ship and out the bottom. And now they're taking on water. Now he's underwater. He's like, holy shit. That's not what I meant to do. So, all right, kind of a goof up. Colossus does mention something I don't ever remember knowing. He says he doesn't breathe in his armored form. Has that always been the case? He literally says, if it's fortunate, I do not breathe in my armored form. I didn't know that. So I learned something here. But the bad guys, Juggernaut, Black Tom, and Siren, teenage Siren, they're like, holy shit, water's coming in. And teenage Siren, she's like, holy shit, are we in danger? This sucks. And but they're trying to gather up their vibranium. We got to get back up. We got to see what the hell's going on. Something's attacking us. And Siren's worried. And Black Tom, he's like, relax, darling. There's no way of trapping us. We're fine. And then Black Tom thinks to himself. He actually has a couple of moments in this book where he's got a little bit of like a conscience almost. He's thinking to himself now. He says, she nearly panicked despite her brave front. She's terrified. I keep forgetting how young she is. Siren may look and act like a woman, but she's still a child. So I was kind of shocked to hear Black Tom speaking with almost a caring voice about, I guess that's they're related cousins or uncles or nephews, niece, whatever it is. I don't know. But he speaks with almost care for her. It's kind of weird. But I don't know much about Black Tom Cassidy outside of the Youngblood, Jesus Christ, the X-Force appearance that he did by Liefeld. So I don't know anything about him. And then Juggernaut gets hit with some kind of energy blast, and he's gone. And she's like, he got vaporized. He's like, no, he didn't. He just got knocked down the hole. Don't worry about him. Get up to the deck and go look around. I think I know who's here. So she takes off, and then Spider-Woman jumps on her and tackles her. And what a goofy-looking face. These artists like to draw evil women with evil, goofy-looking faces so that you can identify that they're evil. And it's a little weird. But Spider-Woman doesn't stop her, so Siren just uses her screamy powers and flies up and gets all the way up in the air. And the text is explaining from Jessica Drew that the sonic sounds from Siren paralyzed Jessica Drew. She's like, I can't think, I can't move, I can't react. Part of Siren's powers, these sonic abilities, she can paralyze you. And so now Jessica Drew falls, and she might fall to her death if not for the high-flying Angel grabbing her from the air. Holy shit, that's lucky. Good job. But getting into some more weird powers that I didn't know Siren could do, Angel gets up there and he runs into, it says here, Angel faced a sonic hologram, a three-dimensional illusion created by Siren. I'm like, what? How can a girl with screamy vocalizations from her voice, sonic abilities, create a fucking hologram? It's a sonic hologram. That doesn't mean anything. But it's just some power. I guess they're trying to lean into the mythological creature of a siren, how it can affect you with its voice. It can make you see things. But that's like a magical element. This is just a power where she can scream. I didn't know any of this about the character. Again, I've only read her in the X-Force comics from back in the 90s. But this also takes over Angel's mind. He's now under Siren's control. And so Angel drops Jessica Drew. Now she's falling again, but apparently Siren can only control one person at a time. And now that she's controlling Angel, she's free. So now she can use her own powers to turn and fly and take off. Now we have to deal with Angel, who's under mind control. Okay. Well, Colossus, he climbs back up into the boat. He runs into Juggernaut, and they start punching each other. And I do remember, again, in those old X-Force issues that Liefeld did, Juggernaut's punching Warpath, and Juggernaut makes a point to say that he says something to the effect of, I'm paraphrasing here, like, reminds me of a couple of shots that I took from, what's his name, Colossus a couple of years ago. So I wonder if that is reference to this. I know these guys have fought before, so it could be, it couldn't be. It's just kind of funny how even in a book from 1981, I can't get away from the links to shit Liefeld has done, which is fine. You know, you pull from the history and make your own new story in the future. It's just funny to have all these characters, and it kind of comes back to that. But there's Black Tom. He's having evil thoughts. He's going to do evil shit because he's a bad guy, whatever. Juggernaut is beating the shit out of Colossus, and he's saying, like, you know, I know we tussled, and last time we fought, we tussled before, and we duked it out, and the better man won. And Colossus says, no, the stronger man won, but not the better man. So Colossus then somehow disappears out of sight. Juggernaut can't see where he's at. So then I guess Juggernaut is walking across some metallic bridge plank thing and doesn't see Colossus come up behind him, and Colossus picks up the plank, shakes it, and drops Juggernaut into the water, I guess to sink straight to the bottom, which you'd think Juggernaut would. Can Juggernaut swim? Can Juggernaut float? I kind of don't think so, but who knows. Anyway, Storm's up here trying to fight Angel, who's still under mind control, and while they're fighting, Chris Claremont's ridiculous explanation dialogue to explain things, which is, he's using a lot of big words and kind of frilly phrases to make things seem more advanced in thought than they actually are. Like here, it says, bioenergy coursed through Tom's body, focused both by his natural mutant metabolism and the shillelagh he carries. I don't know what that means. The shillelagh, Shillellah. Whatever that is, into a murderous beam of solid light. Whatever. He shoots lasers from a stick. That's all it needs to say. So he shoots a laser from a stick, but it's a murderous beam of solid light. And, you know, it misses Storm, but then it hits other things. She falls to the ground, so Storm does a gust of wind to send Black Tom and Angel back. Colossus shows up. He takes on Black Tom. So Black Tom gets his murderous beam of solid light and shoots a laser from a stick at Colossus. It just bounces off him, and Colossus punches his lights out. Siren comes back. Well, and we cut back to her, and she's looking for Jessica Drew. She's trying to track her down. So now she's down inside the boat somewhere, and this was another ridiculous scene. Like, I get the point. We're trying to show that these characters are smart and have tactical thoughts and got to outthink each other. Sometimes it's not all about just punch, 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 fight, laser beam, maybe, punch, punch, punch. It's like we got to have something different. So Siren is floating around, and then she thinks she sees Jessica Drew. I mean, it looks like it. So she fires a sonic blast and basically vaporizes her. All you see are like, is Jessica Drew's lower body. It's just her ass and her feet, and then I guess a tuft of her hair. And the creepy looking Siren, she's like, holy shit, I think I blew her apart. But then you find out that Jessica Drew's just naked in the background. She took her costume off, found some packing material, stuffed it into her costume, and then like leaned it up against a wall or something as a diversion, a distraction, and Siren fell for it, shot the costume, and while she was looking the other way, Jessica Drew, who's now naked, hiding behind a pole, shoots Siren in the back, knocks her out, and the last panel, Jessica Drew, she put her costume back on, she's back up on the deck, and Angel and Colossus are like, you look like shit, because her costume's been blown to pieces. She's like, yeah, thanks, fuck off. Hey, by the way, we have to deal with Juggernaut. And so they come up with this brilliant scientific plan because Jessica Drew can generate bioelectric energy, Storm can conjure lightning, so they wrap up rope and metal pieces across all these parts of the ship to create some kind of like trap. The idea is if Juggernaut will walk into this trap, they can use their Jessica Drew's bioelectric powers and Storm's electricity and charge it and zap him and take him down. They're going to make a trap. Juggernaut comes busting up through the bottom of the ship. He's going to go get Colossus. He's like, we're not done. We're going to keep going. So For some reason, Colossus just throws a big chunk of the metal boat at Juggernaut. Juggernaut just catches it and just crushes it easily, rips it into chunks. He says, see how I did that to this thing? I'm going to do that to you. So then Colossus gets grabbed by Juggernaut, and they're in the area where the trap is ready to be sprung, but the text is saying, like, we can't trigger this electric zapping device because we might kill Colossus too. So Colossus, using his brains rather than brawn, he changes back from metal form to human form, which makes him shrink down a little bit, so he's able to duck out, slip out of Juggernaut's grip. Angel, again, shows up, grabs Colossus, gets him out of the way, because that's about all Angel can do is just show up and grab you and fly you away. He's kind of useless beyond that. And then so Storm and Jessica Drew activate their weapon and electrocute him, but it's so violent, it literally explodes the boat. Just boom, everything fucking detonates. And they're like, did we just fucking kill Juggernaut? Holy shit. Black Tom survived. Siren's unconscious and being hauled away in an ambulance. And Black Tom's like, curse ye X-Men if that child is hurt. And Jessica Drew basically says, I just zapped her with my venom sting. She'll be fine. And rightfully so, they point out like, hey, Black Tom, you fucking idiot. She wouldn't have got hurt in the first place if you weren't using her to do all this evil shit, you dumbass. And he actually acknowledges that, which is, again, another character trait I was not expecting in this book. So Black Tom turns to the cops and he says, officers, the child and Spider-Woman here had nothing to do with the Mint robbery. It was me and my missing associate Juggernaut. We are solely responsible. And then he says, Storm, I leave her in your good hands. You take care of her. So, again, Black Tom has a little bit of care for Siren. Really? I mean, it's an interesting character trait. I just didn't know he had that kind of a heart and soul in him. So, okay, great. So now we all get together and like, hey, what a great team up we had. Good job. You're awesome. We're friends. If you ever need us, let us know. I am sitting here looking at this panel and wondering, what the fuck is this? Can somebody explain to me what that is? Like, they're together, they're walking towards somewhere, and the artist drew something. What is that? Anyway, cut back to lots of words, lots of text, because it's a Chris Claremont comic. Basically, Jessica Drew, she's back in California somewhere, and she's setting up her detective agency job. She's like, man, what a crazy adventure I had with the X-Men. She talks about how she says here that she spent 30 years in suspended animation in Wundagore, and she's only been recently revived, and so now she has a whole new life in front of her. I'm like, she spent 30 years in suspended animation? What? So was she born in the 50s? Because this is the 80s? I don't know anything about this character. This is all so ridiculous, but it's, it's a comic book. That's all kind of silly. But yep, she's going to be Spider-Woman, and she's going to have a private investigator license. She's Jessica Drew. She's awesome. Off she goes into her adventures. The end. So it's not brilliant. It's not great, but it's not terrible. It's just a comic from the era. It's fine. It's got characterization, and it's got action and adventure and villains. Villains are defeated by the good guys. It's fine. It's not going to change anybody's life. I really doubt this is anybody's favorite comic, but it's fine. It does the job. So there you go. What more do you want? I probably won't ever look at this again. It's fine. I don't know. Nothing more to say. It's kind of quaint. It's kind of cute. But, Spider-Woman, I think Brian Michael Bendis grabbed onto her and made her into a bigger thing in the early 2000s or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, it was kind of fun to get to see something like this. These old comics, whether they're really good and hold up over the years from an art perspective and a storytelling perspective, whether they do or not, it's always kind of fun to see these old relics from another era. Oh, I mean, like, I was 4 years old when this comes out, and it's just weird to think about that. So I don't know. It's fun. It's neat. That's all I've got on this one. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time.